and I was thinking, how the hell can I film from above and not get them in shot? Because I need them really, really close. And I think that was what was going through my mind. But I'm glad it came across that I dealt with it professionally.
Oh, mate. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Moving the Spotlight. Today I've got a good friend of mine who we were just saying we've not spoken. Well, we have spoken, but we've done the old text and chat and WhatsApps and all that. But we've got Dave from Future Epic Productions. Dave's kind of come in here. Let me bring you in. There you are, mate. How you doing? In all your glory.
Guys.
Yes.
Hey, man, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah. It's really good to see you. As we were saying, we haven't seen each other in bloody ages, have we? The last video shoot.
Yeah, it's been a while, definitely.
I know,
Guys, obviously, since you guys did the last record and
yeah, and then
lockdown.
we annoyed the hell out of you and we made you work with us like 3 times.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, it was really good.
Yeah.
Like we did 3 videos in like a really short space of time, and I like that because sometimes I don't see bands for like a year, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's always like you just get back on like a house on fire, but with you guys, it was such short and quick, and it was lovely. It was really nice to do, man.
We don't mess about, mate. You know this. We don't mess about. We just get in it. Right, so we'll get into that. We will get into the videos and all that jazz and how annoying we are to work with and how annoying Luke is to video. But so tell everybody what you do, mate, for a living and your company, and because it is bizarrely interesting. So crack on. What do you do, mate? What's your job?
Thanks, buddy. So I'm a freelance filmmaker, and I literally create music videos for bands. Is 90% of my work. I do some corporate, and I've just started to do some documentaries, which is really nice as well.
Oh, can you talk about that documentary that I know a bit about?
There's two that I'm trying to work on at the moment, and they're based around music.
Yeah.
And one is all about small venues and the problems with the music industry at the moment, and basically how broken it is.
Yeah.
And that's one side, and basically we're waiting. We've got a great host for that, and we're waiting for him to be free to do it. And then I've got another one which I'm working on, which is more of a kind of redemption story, which is going to be a short. And that's a chap that was from London, grew up in a really deprived area, but he was a really talented tennis player, talented musician. But unfortunately, a series of unfortunate events happened, and he got banged up at the age of 20 for something that I can't say he didn't do, but if it happened now with today's laws, the laws have changed since the event, he wouldn't have gone to prison, but he went to prison for 4 or 5 years, and now he's come out and he's a massive A&R executive for a huge label. Or subsidiary of a huge label.
I am so glad we're having this conversation, mate. I am so.
He deals with R&B, but he's. I had a video chat with him when I read the story, and he is the nicest, loveliest like chap that you've ever met. I got with him in the house on fire. I've never met him before. We just connected over Instagram. And then hopefully we're shooting that. It's going to be a short. It's only going to be a 10 to 15 minute short, which we're hoping to pitch to various places this summer. So yeah, so I do everything from music videos, a bit of corporate like clothing brands, and I did Casio pianos a few years ago, which was lovely. Just some of their product videos. We went up into Islington in London, and we just rented this massive multi-million-pound townhouse, like 6 floors, and we just shot 4 pianos in 2 days, and that was. So loads. Basically, I get to point the camera at stuff, light stuff really nicely, as you can see, and make stuff look pretty for various companies and bands and stuff. So yeah, it's great. I'm really lucky,
mate. You did it. You did a sterling job for us, and we'll talk about it. So you're gonna obviously get us involved in these documentaries, make us world famous, and I'm joking.
I think I already asked if you.
You have. I mean, I'm in. I've told you. I'll carry the bags, mate. I don't even have to be. Well, I do have to be on camera. You know, I do. My ego won't take me just carrying bags, but I'll carry your bags, mate. I'm happy to be that boy. I'll just be in the background like this, going hello, hello.
Blue Nation sign.
Yeah, just like the website like that. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. So with your process then, because I'm really interested in this, because obviously I know from what you and I spoke about and how we went about it, because the videos you did for us, Gimme Some Time was first, wasn't it?
Yes.
No.
That was last.
Good Times. God, see, missed my memory. Good Times. Rich Girl. Give Me Some Time, wasn't it? That was right, yeah. So I remember on Good Times, you and I having loads of conversations. So walk us through, mate, how your process when you have a band like us and we say, "I want you to video this song," and they go, "There's the song." What do you go
Yeah.
through?
I mean, it's really interesting, man, because sometimes, like when you guys came and did Rich Girl, I mean, you guys had the full idea all set out, and you basically got me to come in, tweak a couple of bits, and film it and produce it, and I love that. I mean, and sometimes it's like that with bands, and other times bands will just go, "We've got a song and it's about a breakup, and here's the song. What do you think?" I mean, sometimes I'll listen to it and stuff will just jump out at me. I'm really lucky like that. That like sometimes, you know, a band came to me recently and they're like, "It's all about breakups." And this video, I'm not sure if this is going to happen or what, but I sort of said, well, they wanted to do it in a house with each member in a different room. So I sort of said, well, why don't we do one where it's like, well, each room is a different stage of the relationship. So you've got the romantic stage, and you deck it out with balloons, hearts, and then you've got like the breakup, and it's all black with like, you know, very dim lights and different things to help help tell the story. So yeah, and sometimes it's dramatically different. I mean, it's, you know, it can be anything from we've got a song, what can we do for it, what's going to be fun, and sometimes it's we've got a full-fledged idea, we just need you to come in and go, well, what's practical, what can we do to make it really work, and it's really nice to be able to do that and help to kind of like push it in one direction, or go, well, this is great, but let's try this, and actually if we switch these around, this will work better.
Yeah, that's what I remember from the Good Times one, mate. You were like, "Oh, I've thought about this. What about this?" And then me and you were going back and forth. So, well, we could do this, and then it was because you sourced the location for us, because we came. Did we go down to Southampton for that? Was it Southampton?
Portsmouth, yeah.
Portsmouth. There we go. So I'm so glad you see. This is why I've got my dad, mate, because I remember nothing. Right. So chords and lyrics, I'm your man. Right. Where we go, not a clue. Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, we went there, and then we kind of looked at the set and kind of you dressed it and stuff. So, right, want to do this shot, that shot. But then, what I really remember about that shoot, you were so particular about making sure that we were happy with what we were getting, and you'd show us and you go, what about this fibre that I could, and even down to the point, you're the first kind of ever person we've worked with in a video shoot that's gone, what if I move the camera like this, or what if I do that? Because I don't know, mate, you know, if you move the camera a certain way. I remember you said, look, I like to put a lot of movement in, and you did this one thing where you put a load of movement. I said, oh, I'm not too sure about that, mate. And you were like, okay, no worries. Why don't we do this tracking shot? Why don't we do this shot? And then that's where we got the when it came up and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my god, it was like, and I just thought, just stick a camera in us and let's play. But it's so much more than that, isn't it? You've got to keep it interesting for the viewer and stuff like that. So how do you look at like 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, and think, right, I've got to keep people engaged, or do you not think about that? Do you just go for the song story?
Definitely. Like half of it's the content, half of it's like the story and what's happening, and then it's making interesting shots. And yeah, sometimes it's just point a camera and make it look nice, and it's a static camera. And other times it's like you said, it's like that. It's like variants of shots. It's like angles from the side and front on angles, and I love the slider shots that we got in that video. Were great, and I think we kind of did something really similar in Gimme Some Time, where you kind of got the door frame, and it's not just you guys in the room; it's kind of peeking in the door, and the sliders coming in, and I love that. Like,
that to be fair, right, all three videos in every single one, I've gone, oh, I love that shot, or I love this, or I love the little hidden stuff we put in, which we're not going to tell what the hidden stuff we put in, because that would, giving stuff away. People are now going to have to go through the videos and look at them and find hidden stuff that me, Dave, Luke, and Chris put in. So, but then with Rich Girl, when I said, look, I've got this idea, I have no idea if this works. I remember your initial reaction when I said, I want the band playing, but I want the girls in the videos to freeze and then come alive. And you were like, yeah, okay, I think I can do that. I was just like, what? And you were like, so what process did you go through for that, mate? Because I remember you explaining it to me, where you had to freeze certen parts of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And keep the girls still.
I mean, so why I was like, oh God, can I make this work? Well, not oh God, but can we make this work? Because I think before that, before having the phone call that led up to you explaining what the idea was, you'd said a few times, "Oh, I've got this idea," and my back of my brain was going, "What the heck is Neil thinking? What master plan has he got?"
Yeah.
And I think we'd kind of pushed it off a couple of times, and then we finally got to have the conversation, and I was like, "Oh, right, okay, that's actually quite doable."
Yeah.
So on that one, I took a freeze frame of the girl of the wide shots. We used mostly the wide shot, and then I think we did some with close-ups with Chris, where the girls were really close to the kit.
Yeah.
And then I took a freeze shot, so the whole frame was frozen, and then basically in at the time my version of editing software, I couldn't just cut round them in the software. I had to actually go into Photoshop and then cut like a mask so they would sit on top of the image.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Now it's really easy to do just in Premiere. You just have the freeze version and the moving version, and just cut round them to show the ones beneath or above, which is really, really easy. But yeah, it was just working out how to best achieve that and to make sure it would work. But yeah, so basically I layered one on the bottom on that one, which was the moving video, and then just cut out the little sections of the girls on there, and then some of them in the shots. I think there's a couple of shots where we're looking across you to one of the girls, and you're playing live, and your guitar neck and hand is moving across them, and they're just stood perfectly still. And
they were brilliant. They were brilliant, weren't they? They just literally.
Were so good.
You were like, I just need you to stay still. And they were like, okay, and it was like
they were so good.
Yeah, Susie and Jay were amazing.
There's a couple of shots I think you can tell that they're moving ever so slightly, but only if you're really, really paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, the other shots I love about that, because when occasionally said, look, it's this kind of vibe, we've got this kind of like 60s memorabilia stuff as well, but the stuff you added with the shot I love the most is with is it 8mm camera?
Yeah.
When Susie's got that, and then you kind of flick to actually taking, and I was just like, oh man, that's genius. And I didn't have that in my head at all. I love that, because it's got that retro vibe. Then right at the end, when the film kind of disintegrates and disappears. Mate, honestly, the amount of comments and stuff we get about all three videos, to be fair, all different reasons and stuff like that. Was that one? They're like, it's got like the most watch time on YouTube. It's got the most retention rate and stuff like that, because I think people are just interested to see where he goes and what happens as well. It's Red Frost where we did it, the nice kind of white. It's just nice and clean as well. But no, that is one of the favourites. And then Gimme Some Time. Did we do that in a day? Was that just a day shoot, or did we do 2 days? I can't remember.
Gimme Some Time was a day.
It was like a day, wasn't it?
A few hours. It was really quick.
Yeah.
Because the studio you shot it in is really quite tight. I think we did it in about 5 hours. Maybe 6.
I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that quick, mate. I mean, to be fair, setting up and breaking down would probably take longer, but it was ridiculously quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed that one. That I liked the aesthetic of that place. It was really, really nice. Like, it just looked like, really like it looks like we used a hazer to make it look kind of dusty and old. And no, that's just the vibe of the studio.
Oh, mate, it's amazing. Woodbine Studios is class, and there's been so many artists go through there. The Specials recorded Ghost Town there. Yeah. Ocean Colour Scene did a load of stuff in there as well. I think Weller's done stuff there. Wyclef John's done stuff for there. The Fugees. It's just, there's so much history there, and it just oozes mojo. That's kind of when we were in there and stuff. So talk to me, because you did talk to me, and I did ask on the Rich Girl video shoot. I was like, mate, what's this camera worth? Because I think you passed it to me saying just hold this, and then you told me. I was like, I'm going to put this down. I was just like, is it? And correct me if I'm so wrong on this, mate. Is it a red camera or what? Am I nowhere near that? So
I shoot with a Blackmagic cinema camera. So it's like so the reds are like the industry standard, but they start. I mean, at that time they started about 20 grand when we did that video. They've come down a lot, but they're still like the base model is about 6, and really to get those working you need about 12 grand, and that's just the camera the adapters and the memory cards and the batteries and a monitor for that, you know, because it's all proprietary, so they make you pay that extra amount. So I shoot with like Blackmagic is quite a new company. They've probably been around for about less than 10 years now, making cameras, but they're great. I mean, I love them. I think they look almost as good. They're so close to it.
Yeah.
And the camera body on its own was about 4.5. And then batteries and memory cards. You can get third party with it, so you can do a little bit cheaper. But all in all, about six grand's worth, I think.
That's mad, isn't it? And, and how many bands do you get coming to you saying we'll give you 100 quid?
A few, yeah. It still happens. It is
mad though, isn't it? I mean, because I remember when I said, you said, look, let's do 3. Let's do it that way, and you were so accommodating and said, let's get. I think we did the first one. They said, let's do 2 more like that. And what I loved about working with you, mate, is that it was so easy. It was so nice just to sit and go through it, and then when you see it back, you get the result you want. Because you've had stuff on like Kerrang and Music TV, and you've had loads of stuff like that, haven't you, with bands as well?
Yeah, really lucky. I think. I've had Kerrang, Scuzz, Sky. The second video I did went on to like the PlayStation Video Zone app.
No
and it got
way.
like 2 million views or something in a couple of weeks. It was ridiculous. It's just, I don't think they print the numbers online, but the press guy at the time said that it racked up something like that, and it's just ridiculous. I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky the amount of stuff that where it's all gone and stuff. So
mate, it's because you're good. It's not luck. It's because you're good. That's why. It's because you know what you're doing, and you shoot bloody good videos. But I'm trying to remember how I found you. Did I find you through Ollie Jefferson?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I remember asking, so I need a film person. I need someone who's going to do some videos for us. I spoke to Ollie, and Ollie went, look, have a chat with Dave, and he knew you. I was like, yeah, and as soon as I chatted to you, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy. And then my dad got involved. I was like, yeah, we're doing this, and it was all there, and it was like, we're going to do a move in the spotlight, I think, with Ollie as well. If I can pin him down, because now he's big time with Robert Plant, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah. So no, he's a good lad, he's Ollie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's what it was, mate. So what was all right, I'll give you 2 questions, mate.
Go on.
What was the best thing, and this could be across all 3 of them or one of them, what was the best part about filming the music videos with us?
Okay.
And then what was the worst part?
What was the best part? I mean, generally, I think we good times, we were kind of finding our feet.
Yeah.
And I feel like I do a lot of kind of pop punk alt rock kind of videos, and at that point that was more of my cool thing, because this was that about 4 years ago that we started doing that?
Well, we always record them before we release them. So I mean, the Caftan Society came out in 2018, 19, something like that. I think it was 19. Was it 19? Might have been 18, mate. So we would have recorded that either early 2018, or even back into 2017, mate. So yeah, it could have been 4 or 5 years ago, which is madness.
Definitely a while ago. And I think that first one I was kind of warming up to your style.
Yeah.
And I think that first video was really good. But what I liked about Rich Girl and Gimme Some Time was that you guys really had an idea of your style.
Yeah.
You didn't just want a bog standard video, like especially with Rich Girl. I mean, the transition on that second one, where you're like, no, we're going to make it really 60s and 70s, you know, really influenced by this. And you went off and you sourced, and it was, you know, the resourcefulness of like the albinos, the Scrabble. Yeah. It was that all of the bits. I watched the videos this morning, and it was all those little bits that kind of added interest. Of like it's almost like, you know, one of those posts you see when it's like, if you grew up in that, you will remember, and it's just like, you know, watching through and like seeing all of these. All the toy cars and everything, and the typewriter and the telephone, I think it was that kind of like the nice part for me was we discussed everything back and forth, but you guys had such a clear idea of what you wanted.
Yeah.
And that's really good for me to be able to go, right, I know how we can make this really good and really sing. So yeah, it was definitely that.
Oh, nice. Worst part, mate? Working with Luke. You can say it. Don't worry. Just say working with Luke. I'm only doing it to wind him up. Only because everyone's loving him on these things.
He's no longer in the band.
Mate.
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, it was so smooth. I think there's one picture. There's one picture, and I think it was just one picture where you saw. I think you are. I can't remember you asked. I think there might have been an overlook from. So we could do the looking down shot on that video, and you sort of said it to me, and my brain was just. I was already in mid doing something else. Like you turned to me and said, "Dave, what about if we do?" And I was just like, what? And I've got the most like, what the hell are you talking about, Neil? Look on my face, which is what I do when people jump me anyway. It's not a personal reaction to you. I've just got that confused face when anybody asks me anything until I go, oh yeah, right, okay, let's try this. And it worked out really, really well. But I was just
that is a great shot by you as well, mate. I did that shot from above because there's a tiny little alcove and it's literally there so they can shoot down because it's a photography studio. I remember, I think you were talking to Susie and you were doing shots with her and I was like, Dave, I've got an idea. And you were just like, the look I got was, please let me finish this first. Because I was like, and I was like, are you up there, mate? What about there? And you were like, yeah. And you were so professional with me because you were like, I got the vibe of, Neil, I'll do it. I'm doing this. I was like, I'm going to leave you, mate. I'm going to go here.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I do forget my manners. And what was running through my brain at the time was, at the time I had a different lighting kit to what I've got now, and it was only 3 little 1x1 panels, and they weren't very bright. So we had to get them bloody close in that big space to get them to light you guys up.
Yeah.
And it only just about coped. And I was thinking, how the hell can I film from above and not get them in shot? Because I need them really, really close. And I think that was what was going through my mind. But I'm glad it came across that I dealt with it professionally.
Oh, mate, you were amazing. Yeah, and I instantly got that, oh, no, I think I've pushed this too far. But then you look at the shot and you were like, I remember when you did the shot and you were like, look at this. And you showed it me and I was like, man, that's amazing. And you were like, yeah, I like that. I was
it was. It's good. It's good.
Oh, it's good, mate. What's the... So in your job then, so what's the bit you love doing? Obviously the filming I get, but is there any other part of your job that you really look forward to doing? Not with us, just in general.
I love all of it. I mean, it's the whole thing of like a band coming to me with an idea and saying, this is our idea, this is what we want to do, how can we make it happen? And then going from that first conversation to that video and like just realizing that idea. I love the whole process of whether it be like working out how to do it and problem solving it, that be pre and on actually on the shoot, and everything like the editing and making it flow really nicely and like finding the groove for it. It's just the whole thing of it's realizing their dream and it's helping them. If a band comes to me like, we want to do this video which is like X, how the hell do we do it and make it look professional usually on a shoestring. Usually bands are like, how do we do it with absolutely no money? What do we do?
How do we do it where we only pay you, Dave? We get everything else free, which is what I think on. Obviously, we pay for the studio time with Red Frost and stuff like that, but that's where Rich Girl came about. I mean, literally, the phone in Rich Girl is my telephone. It's down here to my right now.
Yeah.
The black coffee table is my coffee table.
Yeah.
The LPs of George that we had were Luke's, mine, my dad's. The Tonka toys are my dad's from when he was a kid. The Scrabble set's my dad's from when he was a kid. The picture of Sid Barrett and George Harrison are from Luke's house. All this stuff. The singing bowl. Which I think's in there as well. That's Luke. The mini that Jane pulls back and goes past the camera. That was mine as a kid. So everything we brought there was just ours. And we just dressed it, and just said, look, let's just dress the set, and then we were like, it kind of, and the typewriter I think was Dad's. We had to buy the Super 8 camera, but I got that from eBay for 20 quid.
Lovely.
Which is good. The Beanos, they were all Beanos that we gave away as well that were there. The enemies were all out, stuff from my dad and Luke's childhood and my childhood. So it was all just, but I think that came across in the kind of nostalgia of it and how it worked. You know, the scooter. How did we forget about the scooter?
Oh, the scooter was lush.
Yeah, the scooter was brought in by a guy called, I think his name was Dave. I'm sure it's Dave. Oh my god, if I've got that wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names. Apologies. And he just bought for free, right? Yeah. So we bought him 12 cans of lager. It was just so, and he bought, it's amazing. And he goes, have it all day, don't worry about it. He literally came in, wheeled it in, sat there all day, watching his scooter sit there. Let's take photos. It's on the front cover of the single. It's and then he wheeled it into his van and then took it away. And it was
That's so kind.
And that was Luke, one of Luke's mates, who Luke kind of knew. And it's like, so that kind of pulling in favours is kind of how we live our lives as well, man.
And I definitely think that's so like so standard for so many small bands that are up and coming and want to try. And they've got a budget, but it's so expensive. And it's, you know, when you were talking about rehearsals and writing and recording and mastering, and then you've got to do some videos. It's not cheap, and that's why my prices haven't really gone up since since we've done a video. I think.
Well, that's really interesting to know, mate. Thanks for
It's all right. I'll do your deal, don't you worry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, mate, that's a good point, because obviously with the year we're going through, and, you know, touch wood, fingers crossed, we're coming out of it now. What's it been like for you, mate? Because I'm assuming you haven't been able to film, you haven't been able to do stuff. Was it just a straight a shutdown for you as well with stuff? Have you lost work? Have you gained work? What's gone on that side, mate?
Going into it, I had like 6, 7, 8 months booked, and which is absolutely nuts for me.
Yeah,
it's really like, usually I book up 6 weeks in advance, and then stuff just fills in, because bands typically are last minute, and hey Dave, we've got a video, can you come shoot it? It's next weekend. Here's the single. What do you think? And it's very, very last minute.
Yeah.
But I don't know how. But so 2020, I was booked from March through the rest of the year. I was so busy, and I can't believe how much work I had. And I was like, you know, this is amazing. This has never happened to me in the at that point, about 5 years of doing it full time.
Yeah.
So the first lockdown, I couldn't do anything. And also at that point, I think where we didn't have, where people weren't used to masks and PPE, and places weren't set up for doing it, it just, nothing happened. So I just had to sit around and do nothing for. I had a couple of edits which I think I got done in the first few weeks, and then I was done. In between that, it's been hit and miss. It's been, I've had some really great runs, and I've done some great videos which I'm really proud of, and I've done less videos overall in the gaps where I've been able to film, and I was able to film in November and the lockdown we currently had, but people are a little bit more, and we were legally allowed to, and bands were, but I think people have been really cautious about what they want to do. And it's just been, it's been tough. I've still got all the deposits from the shoots that we had, but a lot of them, bands have got concepts for videos that they can't do, and they want to stick with those, and they want to wait until
they can do them.
Yeah. I mean, there was one video that I've got a deposit for, it's for a covers band, and it's a full remake of the Toga Party from Animal House.
No way.
And they want to wait until they can actually do that.
You can't socially distance that video, mate. That's impossible.
Not at all. So yeah, it's been tough, man. But the videos I have done, I've been able to put in a lot of love to.
Yeah.
That's been great. I mean, I did one video with Stay Awakes where we used a projector, and it was like a driving car scene.
Oh yeah.
And we got a vintage. I blagged for them a vintage car, and I think they gave a guy, about 50 quid for a few hours of his time, and he brought this vintage car in, and they put up a giant projector, like 3 meters by 1.5 meters or 2 meters behind them.
Yeah.
And they had this kind of like sunlight, like a sunsetting scene on it, and that was fantastic.
No way.
And like I got to, I had to do, when they came to that, and it's like I had to think about what I wanted to do, and how I could do that properly.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was just it's been tough, but it's been good to do things. And then obviously with I've been able to get the documentary stuff off the ground, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And then I've got a producer, an international producer involved in that as well, who's really keen on one of them. So I've kind of taken it as 6 and 1. It's not been great for being able to go out and be creative, but it's been fantastic for being able to be more focused on other things. And I've done. I felt like I've come out really well.
No, that's great, mate. And I went back through our messages and stuff like that, and when you and I first started talking about the documentary and stuff, and me basically begging you to be in it, which you relented.
I think I asked.
And, mate, I'll be honest, it's the quickest message I've ever replied to. Yes. Now, what do you want me to do? It's like I went back and it was like I saw the timeline of how you were thinking about it and what your mind was going through, and it was like right at those times as well. But it's the same with music as well. Same with you and the stuff. Everything kind of grinded to a halt. And only recently, I think we did a gig in October, which we were allowed to do. But Luke and I and Ben were talking about this the other night, where it's now really getting to us that we can't rehearse, we can't go out and play live, and kind of that October gig it got us through. But now we're 4, 5, 6 months away, past that gig, and we're now mentally, all of us are like, I need music. And I think that's what, with creative people in all walks of life, and this is why we wanted to do this as well, was to kind of show how much it means to people like yourself, to be creative and to get that outlet. And, you've said several times in this already, I'm so lucky. I don't think it's luck. I think you're bloody brilliant, right? But that it's so cathartic to do that, and do that. And if you're spending hours on the edit, or you're spending hours doing stuff and stuff like that, then that's how it should be, and that's how people should see the creative industry and the amount of love and attention to detail that goes in. And I implore anyone, go back and look at the 3 videos that Dave did with us, and you will see stuff you have no idea was there. Just look around the edges, look around what's on my guitar, what's on Luke's guitar. If you look at Luke's headstock as well, there's a thing I'm giving something away. I think his gran gave him, or his granddad, I can't remember if gran or granddad, which is around his headstock. No one's ever noticed that. It's been on there for everything. But that's something to Luke that keeps him there. So I totally get it, mate, when it's been 6 one, half a dozen the other, and you're up, you're down, you're left, you're right. But fingers crossed, touch wood, we're kind of we're nearly out of it in there. So is your kind of year then, when we come out of this, are you stacked up? Are you just waiting more for the green light, and then you're just going to kind of get back to that 6-8 months booked up, or is it just even busier?
I have no idea. At the moment, I've got a couple of months booked over the next couple of months, which is really, really good, and I'm really, really happy. I've reached out to every single one of those deposits and sort of said, don't worry, your deposit's still safe. I don't want you to think just because of what's happened that you've lost it. As soon as we can do it, you ready? Every time we've opened back up, I've had a massive flurry of messages. When Boris announced the road plan, the roadmap out of lockdown, in those, like that evening and the following few days, I was bombarded. I was literally from bands and from businesses, all sorts of things, and they were all saying, we want to shoot, we want to get stuff done. And when are you available? What's your availability like? What's the pricing on? Is it still the same? And these are from old customers and people that got deposits and new. So I'm really, I am really hopeful that once things calm down, and now with everybody getting tests and do tests at home and pre-shoots and stuff, and most people are quite relaxed about wearing masks on set, and I'm hoping that we're going to get back to some kind of normality by the end of the year. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I've got my fingers crossed, expecting the worst.
Yeah, so we're the same, mate. It's we're looking at the roadmap and just a rehearsal, getting back into rehearse, because we've not played guitar and stuff. I've played guitar, but I haven't played with the lads since October last year. Because it pretty much came crashing down straight after it, and I think we've got stuff in June, August, September. We've even got stuff booked in, which I can't talk about, but I'm going to in 2022.
Oh, amazing!
So, which is amazing. I mean, I think we've got something in October 2022. So
That's amazing.
so it's like, you know, which is great, but it's just mad, and
It is.
if one thing we've learned from this and doing, you know, these interviews with people, I've learned that, you know, I need to talk to people more. I need to kind of check in with them. I need to send them messages, you know, like you and stuff, and say, hey, how you doing, mate? And not work related, not do you want to do this video or whatever. It's more just, hey, how you doing? How's things going? Stuff like that, which is kind of mad. So the pandemic's kind of changed your job massively from that. So if there's anyone that wants to get into being a filmmaker watching this, mate, or editing, or a DP, a director, or a producer, whatever, what's the kind of one piece of advice you'd give them? Or where should they start? Right, first of all, sorry, I do this, mate. My interview technique is shocking. I interviewed my mate who's like a TV presenter, and he was like, "Oh my god, you're all over the place." I was like, yeah, I know, it's because my brain works that way. What's the one piece of advice you'd give someone who wants to get into the industry that you're in?
Just pick up a camera and start filming.
Yeah.
Like I've got no formal training.
Yeah.
I didn't do education for this. I was actually running a record label in Camden. I founded and was running sort of like a pop punk and alt rock label.
Yeah.
Which I did really well at, and I was really, really pleased with. But I just bought a really cheap Canon, £200 to do behind the scenes when the bands did actual music videos. And I did sort of like 2 or 3 of those, and they weren't bad. The first one was atrocious, really bad. I look back at it now and go, oh, what the hell was I doing? And I just started filming, and then one of my friends' bands, just not on the label, just sort of turned around to me and said, "Dave, look, we know you film. Like, would you come and do this video for us?" Like,
oh, nice. I didn't know that, mate.
And I kind of did that, and it came out okay. Like, I can still watch it now without cringing too bad. There's stuff in there which I'm not happy about, but there's stuff in there I still like. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
And then basically one of the label bands kind of looked at it and went, when I shared it, and they were like, "Dave, like, why haven't you done us a video?"
No way.
And that was my second music video, and then that was the video that got on. Literally, we released it, and the guys had a great PR company working with them, and it got on Kerrang, Scars, and the PlayStation Video Zone app.
Yeah.
It was, you know, primetime Scars, primetime Kerrang at the time, and I was blown away. And then literally the phone just started ringing, and the emails started coming in, and the record label was doing well, but with releases and stuff, you know what it's like. Some bands resonate and they do really well, and sometimes they don't. And then there's always some ego and some stuff with that. Not ego.
It's a come down, isn't it? Every band thinks they're the next big thing. Every band thinks it. And when you don't sell out that venue, when you don't sell 100,000 copies in your first week and stuff, and you sell 10,000, or even if you sell 100 and you said you were going to sell 1,000, bands have to realise it. You know. So I get it. We've seen it.
And it was just difficult to know what was going to come. And then basically I just started getting more and more emails about like, "Oh, we know you from so and so. Can you do us a video?" And then it just kind of snowballed to the fact where I was doing more work on that, and I had no time to do the label. So I still carried out all my commitments and wound that down, and then just went full time with that. But so to sum up, like, with if anybody's watching that wants to do this, or web design, or recording, or anything creative, just start. Just start. Have a crack. You're gonna make terrible content or whatever, but then you learn, like, what's your style, what works for you, what you like, what you don't. And like, there's videos like yours I look back at, and I'm still really, really happy with them. And there's some videos I watch of mine and I cringe at.
It's just, that's the creative process, though, isn't it? That's definitely what happens, right? My first song was about a tree. I can still play it to this day, right? It's god awful. My second song, do you remember those River Island bags that had a load of like mosaic stuff on them? Was about a River Island bag. Other shops and plastic bags are available. But it's like, and now I'm writing stuff about, you know, war and radical movements, and how my heart was broken when I was 16, and how someone else and how I document. So it just does progress. I think it's great advice, mate. Just get involved and get and do it, and don't. I think there's a lot of pressure, especially these days, on everything has to be perfect or Instagram ready or YouTube ready, and because if I think about when I started in music, we had none of this, right? No. I didn't even have a distribution company, right? There was no way to get the music on Apple. Spotify didn't exist. I remember when Napster came in. This is how old I am. Right? So there was no way to... Going into a recording studio was a thing, right? So, it was massive, and you'll know this from the label days. It's like... And we've kind of come full circle where you can do this from your bedroom. You can get it out there. You can get millions of players and then be touring with XYZ.
Yeah. Because
you've got that kind of audience. And I think a lot of people think it needs to be kind of ready and perfect and go straight away, which is, that's not us. We just like, let's crack on and do it and find out. But I think it's great advice, mate. Absolute perfect advice. I love it. Right, mate. So we're coming to the end, buddy. For you.
It's a shame, mate. It's been lovely to chat.
I know. I could chat to you all day, but it's like we need to do this more often. I'm going to call you more and just bug the hell out of you.
You're more than welcome anytime, mate.
There might be some videos coming up, mate, that I might ring you with, and just go, Dave. Got this idea to shoot a video on the moon. It's like, no. So my last one, mate, is what is your favourite Blue Nation song and why?
I think Give Me Some Time.
Oh, really? I was nailed on you were going to say Rich Girl.
Oh, I just like the riff. I love the riff in Give Me Some Time. Like, it's big, it's ballsy.
It's just out there, isn't it? It's just
I love it. Like, I do like Rich Girl. I love it when it comes in, and I love the sound of that more kind of jangly like guitar.
Yeah.
But Give Me Some Time. That riff is just and just listening and watching you play it. Obviously, like you just got so into that. Like,
oh mate. I could literally, it's like no one's there, right? And all of us are like this, when Chris was there, Ben now, and with Luke and me, we can literally play in front of no one, and it'll be the same show. You should see us in rehearsals. Rehearsals are exactly the same. It's really bizarre. We've had, when my dad comes down and he sees us, he goes, I remember he's just like, oh God, you guys rehearse like you play live, and it's like, yeah, because we have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's natural. Because we don't like choreographing and okay, I'm going to do this and then you're going to... That's not us. It's just like what you see is what's happening. And sometimes I do look like a demented chicken, right? Which is fine. I don't mind that because that's who I am. But no, that riff. I remember we played with a band called Dirty Thrills, who were a lot bluesier and heavier. And on the first night, we all decided we're going to open with Give Me Some Time, just to kind of grab the audience. And we were on first, and the audience were there. And we played it, and they came out of the dressing room and stood there, and we were just like... Because the riff was going, and I was like, yeah, that's the seal of approval I need. So, yeah. It's mad, though. Oh, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know this is not your usual thing, being this side of the camera. So,
no, this is completely
and it's kind of why I like doing it, mate. Because I know you're so much more comfortable behind it and shooting
100%.
it. But no, thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. So I will say goodbye to you now, but stay there because I'll have a chat to you afterwards as well, buddy. But yeah, I will take you off said screen then. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave from Future Epic Productions, I think it is. But yeah, go to his website, futureepic.com. Join us next time on the next episode of Moving the Spotlight, where we'll be talking to more people from the music industry behind the scenes and hopefully bring to light what they do, how they do it, and how brilliant they are. So thank you very much and see you soon. See you later. Bye-bye.